I need to talk to my generation right now. Not millennials, not boomers, Gen X. The generation that grew up on MTV, survived the 80s, and raised ourselves while both our parents worked, and were told that if we just worked hard enough, we'd be okay. We'd have a good retirement, a comfortable life, and security. We believed it, and we worked for it, and we got lied to. Because right now, Gen X is starting down the barrel of the worst retirement crisis in American history. And nobody's talking about it. The news isn't talking about it. The government isn't talking about it. Your employer definitely isn't talking about it. But I am, because I'm one of you. If you're new here, my name is Kim Ryan, 53 years old, born in 1972, and a Gen X. And I grew up watching The Breakfast Club and thinking I had the whole world figured out. I didn't. And neither did a lot of us when it comes to retirement. But here's one thing I know that I wish I knew then. There's still time to fix this, but only if we act now, because the window is closing. And every single day that we wait is a day that someone else in our generation gets ahead while you far further behind. So stay with me for the next couple minutes, because what I'm about to share could be the most important thing that you hear in 2026. So if you're watching this, you were probably born between 1965 and 1980. You grew up in a world where parents had pensions. Companies took care of their employees. You worked 30 years at one place and retired with your gold watch and a guaranteed income for life. And then that world disappeared right when it was supposed to be our turn. The pension system collapsed. Companies switched to 401ks, and they told us it was better. The housing market crashed how many times during our generation? And the stock market also crashed how many times during our generation? But we just kept going, because that's what Gen X does. We don't complain. We don't ask for help. We try to figure it out. We were the latchkey kids, the forgotten generation, the ones who raised ourselves. And we applied that same mentality to our finances. We just figured it out. Except when it comes to retirement, we didn't. And here are the numbers that should terrify you personally. The average Gen X retirement savings is only $150,000. And that sounds okay until you realize that you need over $1 million to retire comfortably. And that's not even including possible medical expenses, right? So that means the average Gen X person is at least $850,000 short of retirement. $850,000 short. And we're in our 40s and 50s, maybe even 10 to 20 years before traditional retirement age. And do the math. To save $850,000 in 15 years, you'd need to put away $56,000 every single year. Are you saving $56,000 a year right now? Because I can tell you, I wasn't. Not even close. And here's what makes it even worse. Social Security, the fund is projected to be depleted by 2033. That's 9 years away, which means that by most of the time that Gen Xers reach retirement age, the safety net that we were promised may not even exist. We are the generation that got handed a broken system and was told just to make it work. Most of us are failing, not because we're lazy, not because we're irresponsible, but because the game was rigged even before we started. And let me just tell you my story, because I think you're going to recognize yourself in it. I grew up in a working class family. My parents worked hard. We didn't have a lot, but we had enough. And of course, I was taught to go to school, get a good job, work hard, save money, and you'll be fine. So that's what I did. I got my college degree, got a job, worked hard, and showed up every single day for 25 years. I contributed to my 401k, and I did everything right. I worked weekends. I sacrificed family time for my job, worked weekends, holidays. But here's the thing. I didn't anticipate my husband having a heart attack. I didn't anticipate the both of us combined being laid off 3 times in the last 10 years. Things like this happen, and they're so incredibly expensive. even if you have medical insurance. And then one night I was sitting at my kitchen table at 2 a.m. I opened up my retirement account statement, and the number literally made me feel sick to my stomach. After 25 years of hard work, that is all that I had saved. 25 years of showing up, giving it my best, believing the system would take care of me. And I have 3 kids in college right now, medical bills, a retirement account that would last certainly not for the rest of my life. And then I thought about my parents. My dad worked at the same place for over 30 years. He retired with a pension that pays him every single month. So he never really had to worry about retirement. I will never have that. And chances are, a lot of you watching this video probably won't either. Because we are the last generation that was promised the old way. And the first generation that got stuck with a new one. No pension, no guaranteed income, no safety net. Just a 401k that the market can wipe out overnight. And Social Security system that may not even exist when we need it. And I literally sat at the kitchen table and cried because I realized something terrifying, that if I kept doing what I was doing, I was going to work until the day I died. Not until I was 65, not until I was 70, until I physically couldn't work anymore. And then I'd be broke. And then my kids would have to take care of me. And I didn't want to be a burden. So have you also had that moment? The 2 a.m. moment where the math just doesn't add up and the panic sets in? If you have, I want you to know you are definitely not alone. And more importantly, there is a way out. But you have to be willing to do something different. So a few weeks after that 2 a.m. kitchen ordeal, I was scrolling on TikTok. It was a Sunday night. And you know that Sunday night feeling, right? The dread, the heaviness that I have to go to work tomorrow. That feeling that Gen X has been carrying for decades. And then I saw a video, a woman my age, and she said something that stopped me from scrolling. She said, I'm 58 years old. I was laid off after 22 years at the same company. And I thought my life was over. And then I discovered something that changed everything. So obviously, I was intrigued. So I kept watching. And she talked about something called master resale rights. And she explained it like this. You know how T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon, they sell cell phones. They didn't create the iPhone itself. Apple did. But T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon, they all have a license to sell the iPhone and keep the profit. So that's what this is. You get a license to sell a proven digital education programs and keep 100% of the profit. And I thought, wait a minute, no product creation, no inventory, no tiny commissions, 100% profit, done for you system, 2 hours a day, all from my phone. And I kept watching to see what else she would say. And then I did something that I hadn't done in a very long time. I invested in myself. And it was scary. But it wasn't just about the money. It was literally the last bit of hope that I had. And of course, I was terrified if it was going to let me down. But before I tell you what happened next, I just need to stop for a second. Because right now, while you're watching this video, there are other Gen Xers in our community who are making sales right now. So while you're sitting there wondering if it's too late to make a change, they're getting notifications on their phones that are saying you made a $100 sale, a $300 sale, $600, $900, $1,400 sale. And they started exactly where you are right now. And if you want to get behind the scenes of exactly how all this works, the free blueprint is in the description below. And you can check it out for yourself to see if it makes sense. But it does walk you through the entire system step by step. No credit card, no strings attached. It's completely free. So click on that link right now, grab the training, and then come back. Because I'm about to tell you the part of the story that nobody talks about. The part where I almost quit. And that moment changed everything. So here I am. I invested into this online business. And I'll be honest with you, the first several weeks is hard. Because I was creating content on social media and then hearing absolutely nothing. Barely any views, barely any. So I was showing up every single day and wondering if I was just the biggest fool, right? And then the Gen X voice in my head said, the one where it says, stop dreaming, get back to reality, this is the way your life is, and suck it up. And I started to tell myself, Kim, you're too old for this stuff. This is for young people. You missed your window. We didn't grow up with the internet or cell phones or anything like that. So, I'm telling myself, you're in your 50s, like, you can't make this work. And I was to the point, I was so frustrated that I wanted to delete my TikTok, social media. I was like, this is ridiculous. This is just wasting my time. So I went in our community and I saw a Gen X woman, 56 years old, and she had been at this for a couple months. And she wrote in our community, I just got my first $600 sale at the age of 56 years old. And she said, don't quit, this works. You just have to keep being consistent until it does. And I stared at that message for a really long time, probably for 20 minutes. And I thought about this quote that I had heard. The only people that fail are the ones that quit. That's the only guarantee of failure, right? If you just quit. So I didn't quit. A couple weeks later, I got a notification on my phone. I had earned a $600 sale, my very first one. I literally screamed because it was proof that it actually worked, proof that I wasn't too old, proof that I wasn't too late. And that $600 changed everything for me. And it wasn't because of the money, it just signified what it meant. It meant that I had a future, a real future. I could see the light at the end of the tunnel. And you know what? Even if I have to work a job for the next couple years, at least I know this additional income stream will be able to fund my retirement. And that's exactly what I was looking for. Because I didn't want to just survive until I couldn't work anymore. But I wanted to actually build something that was mine, something that couldn't lay me off, an income that I could control. I could make as much or as little as I wanted. So obviously after that first sale, my mentality about this was totally different. And I stopped doubting and I started building. And here's the thing, when you have that belief, it shows up in your marketing. And when it shows up in your marketing, the sales become easier. And here's what changed, again, besides just the money. That Sunday night dread disappeared. Stop laying awake at 3 a.m. stressing about the future. Because here's the thing, I'm not where I want to be right now, but I know I'm getting there. And just knowing that in the next couple of years, I'm going to be good. But a lot of people in our generation aren't going to be. And I hate that. And here's what I need you to understand. I'm not anyone special by any means. I'm not tech savvy. I'm certainly not young. I'm just a 53-year-old Gen X woman who was tired of being lied to by a system that was never designed to take care of us. And I just found a different way, one that works. And it's also working for 56,000 other people in our community. People just like us. Now, I need to tell you something that might be a little uncomfortable. But we're Gen X, right? We can handle uncomfortable truth. Every single day you don't start, someone else does. Right now, while you're watching this video, there are Gen Xers in our community who are making their first sales. There are people that just joined and already have that $600 already sitting in their account. There are people that joined last month that are already making $1,400 sales. And here's the thing about building a digital business. The people that start now have a massive advantage over the people that start later because they're building their audience, they're building their authority, they're building their momentum, and that compounds. 6 months from now, Gen Xers who start today are going to be miles ahead of the ones who waited. And a year from now, the gap is only going to get bigger. Think of the debt that you could pay for if you get started now. Maybe the credit card, maybe you want to pay off a car, maybe a house. But here's the brutal truth that nobody else is going to tell you. If you don't create a new income stream in the next 12 months, your retirement situation is not going to get any better. In fact, it's only going to get worse, especially the way prices are now of everything. Because inflation isn't stopping, healthcare isn't stopping, time isn't stopping, and Social Security isn't getting more reliable. If you decide you can build a digital business with a done-for-you system that has live coaching, a community of thousands of people supporting you, mentoring you, But here's what I don't want you to do. I don't want you to watch this video and never return to it and say, I'll deal with it later, and later becomes never, because I did that for 6 months. 6 months of, I'll start next month. 6 months of lost potential income and 6 months of falling further and further in debt while my retirement pretty much stays the same. Don't be like me. Don't let I'll start next month steal your retirement. Because the reality is 5 years, you're going to be somewhere. The question is where? Still looking at your retirement account and feeling sick to your stomach? Still waking up at 3 a.m., panicking about retiring? Still working a job that is slowly crushing you? Or building something that is changing your life? All I'm asking you to do is check out the information in the description. If it doesn't make sense for you, totally cool. And if it doesn't, just know that there are other options out there for you. But if it does make sense, let's lock arms, let's team up, and let's get you making your very first sale. Here's something else that kind of scared me was I didn't want to be in a position that when I go, I didn't want to leave my kids the debt and the stress. So instead of that, what if you left them a business that was paying them month after month? What if the thing that you build today becomes the foundation your grandchildren stand on? That's what this business can do for you, if you wanted to. Because when you join, you're going to you'll get certified, and it doesn't take that long. But then you'll get the license to resell the product. So this isn't just a side hustle. This is a generational asset. This is the pension that our generation was never given, the safety net that we were promised and never received. This is our chance to rewrite our Gen X retirement. We don't want to be known as the generation who worked until the day they died. We want to be known for the generation that just figured it out, the generation that built something real, who we are. So if you've watched this entire video, it tells me something about you. It tells me that you are serious. It tells me that you're tired of the way things are right now. And it tells me that you're ready for something different. So here's what I want you to do right now. First thing, subscribe to my channel, like this video if you want to hang out some more. And then 2, click on the link in the description and get the free blueprint. It's just real information that could change your life. And if nothing else, it just gives you a different perspective, and lets you know that there are options out there. Because here's the thing, the next 12 months are going to pass whether you act or not. You can just live life as is, or you can start building your legacy. The choice is yours. Click on the link in the description.